beautiful Nomies, and welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations, and I'm Nova, and I'm so happy to see you today. I hope that you and your loved ones are doing well and taking care of the best that you can, and I hope that you are getting in some good quality crochet time and a little bit of you time. I am working on a witch hat, and I say witch hat, but like it's the style of like a witch hat, you know, like the not necessarily like the witch aspect of it, because like I'm not making like a Halloween hat or like anything. It's not for anything specific. I saw that somebody had asked that on my post on my community tab when I mentioned it. They're like, oh, is this like for something like a costume or like a plan or something? And I'm like, no, it's just like on a whim. I was like, you know what, I haven't made one of these yet, and I've been wanting to. I love that style of hat, with, you know, like the pointier tip that kind of flares out as it gets to the bottom and everything. And actually I would love to make like a whole bunch of them, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And the reason that I went ahead and just went for it, even though I have not finished a couple of amigurumi I'm in the middle of, is because when I was finishing that bad boy right there, which is our channel mascot and gnome of the month. If you missed that video, it was the last video I posted, so you should go check it out. When I was finishing that bad boy up, I used up all of my polyfill. I had like a pretty full bag of polyfill, like almost a whole bag, and he took all of it. So I don't currently have polyfill, and it's going to be a hot minute before I can get some more polyfill. So I was like, okay, I'm going to switch gears and work on something other than amigurumi. And actually, it's felt kind of refreshing and nice. I have a couple different things that I want to work on, and I'm like, you know what? A little break from amigurumi actually I think will be a good idea. Amigurumi is definitely the like closest thing to my heart in crochet. I love to make amigurumi, but I also do like to make other stuff, so it's just hard for me to make things other than amigurumi because I really like amigurumi. And I have like so many ideas and so many plans for amigurumi, that I just find myself constantly starting them. So running out of polyfill makes me do something else. So I wanted to show you guys how this hat is coming along. Here is the top, and I'll just kind of pan you up. And here's what I've got so far. So obviously I've got a whole bunch of widening out to do, and then I'm going to do a nice big brim on it. But I have been doing stripes for it. And I have been moving around my starting point as far as changing colors goes, so that there's not like one solid line of all of my color changes. You can see that they kind of start and stop at different points, and I like the way that that's looking. I'm using all black, purple, green, and blue. And I know that's quite a few colors, and I'm not just using one of each of those colors. That's just like the theme I gave myself was black, purple, green, and blue. And I'm using lots of sparkle yarns. This was the very last of that black sparkle yarn that I used for my gnome. You know how I was telling you guys in the Gnome of the Month video that I used almost like a whole skein, basically. Like there was just like a little bit out of it. I used it to, I held it triple for the body and double for the hat, but I used the black sparkly the whole time. The other colors, they all changed up as I went, you know, between the body and the hat, but the black sparkly yarn I used the whole time. And this is Red Heart Super Saver Metallic, but I was actually thinking about it, and I already knew this, but I didn't mention it in my video, I realized. This is kind of cool. This was the very last bit of it, and I used it at the tip because, you know, less stitches around means it'll go a little further. But it's pretty cool to, it was really cool to finish off this skein, every little last drop of it, because this was one of the first yarns that I bought when I actually learned to crochet. So, if you guys have been around for a little while, I've talked about how I started crocheting. And you'll remember that when I started crocheting, I had some yarn and like a little how to crochet kit, and I started learning in a very long car drive from Michigan to Texas. And when I actually figured it out and was like, oh my gosh, I can crochet, like I'm making these granny squares, they look like granny squares, I wanted to get a different yarn, okay? So I just had that one yarn. It was a mandala cake, and it was one of the ones that changes colors, but as far as like granny squares go, you know, like just small granny squares, I was only hitting orange the whole time because there was it was like a very large section of orange. And I wanted to be able to like change colors in my granny square and stuff, because at that point, that was all I knew how to make was a granny square. And I was like, you know, I wanted to keep practicing that, but I wanted to have a little more variation. So I went to Walmart and I got this black sparkly, well, metallic technically yarn. I got white and I got red. And that was what I was making my granny squares with after I learned how to make granny squares. I was doing like, and gray. I got black, no, I don't know if I got white. I don't know. I know I got black, red, and gray. I don't know if I got white, actually. I might have gotten white too, but I was literally just like alternating between those colors and making granny squares. And so this was that black sparkly yarn. I still had it in my stash. I never finished using it. I only really used it for that. So it was mostly full, and I used it in our mascot gnome for the whole thing. And then this teeny little bit, which I know some of you guys out there, not me for sure, would have actually just thrown it away, because I follow a few YouTubers, you guys probably do too, who don't save their yarn scraps, which is totally personal preference, but I'm like, you know, a yarn hoarder, and so I save all of my yarn scraps. But for me, or even for me, this was a small yarn scrap. So I know some of the people out there would have just tossed it, but I was able to get this much of the hat done with it. And because it was only, I think I was doing 5 stitches around and then increased to 6 stitches around, it was really short rounds, so I was able to actually get a pretty significant chunk. So that's just like a little blurb about this yarn. It's something cool and kind of sentimental to me, I guess, because I had bought yarn before learning to crochet, because I did experiment with loom knitting, well, I guess it was still a loom, but I had different types of looms that I was playing around with. So I was using yarn before that, but I didn't know how to crochet or knit. So it was really cool that this was like the first yarn I ran out and bought when I learned how to crochet. And then this was another little scrap of yarn. The rest of these aren't yarn scraps. They are actually just skeins that I pulled out. But I am loving the way that the colors are working up in this. I'm using Caron Simply Soft Party is this dark green color, and the sparkly purple. That's the dark green again. This is that blue, or no, this is Big Twist, actually. Big Twist, I believe, teal. This is just Big Twist black. This is some shade of purple, Big Twist also. This is Red Heart with Love. And then this is that Caron Simply Soft Party again. This is Big Twist, one of their metallic-y, sparkly shades. They only have a few of those, so it's pretty easy to figure out, I think. But if you have any questions about specific colorways or anything, just let me know, and I'll let you guys know. I'll actually grab the ball bands and figure it out, but some of my yarn actually doesn't have ball bands on it right now. For this hat, this color doesn't have a ball band on it. But yeah, I am very happy with it, and the reason it has this is because it's gonna be bent. You know, that kind of bent over style. I might do something with it. I might like put something in it to kind of shape it, like pipe cleaner or wire or something, but I don't know yet. Maybe curl it. I don't know. I just knew I wanted it to be long and floppy up top, so that's kind of the gist. And I'm not following a pattern for this. I'm just experimenting. And that's one of the things I was thinking. Oh, I like it like that. There we go. That's one of the things I was thinking about, you know, making multiples. I was like, I might just kind of go on like a little bit of a hat binge. I love making hats. And I haven't made any of this style, even though I love this style of hat. So I was like, might go on a little hat binge, try out some different ways of doing it. Oh, and I'm putting some back loop only rounds just kind of randomly in here, just to add a little bit of texture. So, and I'm just doing single crochets this time. I wanted to keep it like solid. It's kind of giving me Nightmare Before Christmas vibes right now, but I wanted to keep it solid and stuff. So, if I was doing other types of stitches, it might not hold its shape as well as single crochets. And this is a kind of a hat that needs to hold its shape. So that's the reason that I chose to do single crochets. But there is my WIP that I am currently working on. I hope that you are all doing well, and I would love to know what you guys are working on right now. I just wanted to pop on here real quick and say hello, and that I miss you guys, and check in, see how y'all are doing. How is your guys' summers going so far? We have a doctor's appointment. Hubby has a doctor's appointment, but I'll be going with him to it. Yeah, you heard the hubby actually went to the doctor's finally. He literally has not been to the doctor's in the entire time I've known him, other than urgent care while being sick sometimes. Like, he just never he refused to go. So finally going. So that's, you know, that's progress. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here. I just wanted to pop in and say hi and show you guys what I was working on. So let me know down below what you guys are up to and what you're working on, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.